Every day, more than 50,000 PlayStation consoles are sold around the world. And to keep up with that demand, Sony's factory runs with incredible speed and precision. Inside this high-tech facility, robots handle almost every step of production, assembling a complete console in just 30 seconds. It's a process that combines smart design, global preparation, and cutting-edge automation. And well, we'll cover all that here at The Process World. Back in the early 1990s, Sony wasn't even in the game console business. In fact, they were working closely with Nintendo on a project that would have added a CD-ROM drive to the Super Nintendo. But that deal collapsed, leaving Sony with a tough choice: walk away quietly or build something entirely new. Ken Kutaragi, the Sony engineer behind the idea, convinced the company to go all in on their own console. And that decision changed gaming forever. When the original PlayStation launched in 1994, it broke all kinds of records. It was sleek, it used CDs when competitors were still using cartridges, and it opened the door for developers to create bigger, more exciting 3D worlds. Players couldn't get enough. The PlayStation became a symbol of gaming culture itself, pushing Sony to keep evolving with new designs, better performance, and more ambitious consoles. But how do they make these consoles? Well, before we get into that, please leave a like and subscribe for more amazing videos like this one. Now moving on. By single PlayStation ever rolls down the assembly line, there's a lot of smart thinking that happens behind the scenes. Sony's engineers don't just design a console for performance. They design it so robots can assemble it quickly and efficiently. Every port, every component, every screw is carefully planned to fit together with precision, making it easier to produce millions of units with consistent quality. Take the PlayStation's internal layout, for example. The motherboard, cooling system, storage, and power supply are arranged in a way that reduces complexity. Parts are modular, meaning they slot into place easily. The cooling system is designed not just for heat management, but also to be easy for robots to install in one smooth motion. Even the plastic casing is engineered to snap together with minimal steps, saving time on the line. This approach means Sony can rely on automation to do the hard work, keeping production fast while reducing errors. It's a design philosophy that shows up in every generation, from PS1 all the way to PS5, allowing Sony to shift from concept to mass production without missing a beat. Once the design is locked in, the next step is getting all those components ready for the factory floor, which is a process in itself. The heart of the PlayStation is its custom processor designed by AMD and built using advanced manufacturing by companies like TSMC. These chips are delivered already tested and prepared to be dropped straight into the motherboard. Then there's the memory, storage drives, optical drives, and cooling fans, all sourced from specialized suppliers who meet strict standards for quality. Even the plastic casing and internal brackets aren't made at the same factory where assembly happens. Those are molded at separate facilities, checked for durability and finish, and then shipped to Sony's main plant. By the time these parts reach the factory floor, they're practically waiting in line to be assembled. This global supply chain is key to keeping production running smoothly. If even one supplier falls behind, the whole process could slow down. So Sony coordinates deliveries carefully, making sure that every component, from the tiniest screw to the most powerful chip, arrives on time, tested, and ready to go. Even markets in the Middle East have become key destinations for PlayStation's supply chain, with growing demand leading Sony to expand distribution routes across countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Once all these parts are in place, it's time for the real magic to start. Now, the factory floor runs like clockwork, with a 31-meter-long assembly line that's nearly fully automated. About 95% of the entire process is done by robots, working with incredible speed and precision. These aren't ordinary machines. Sony uses advanced multi-axis robots that can handle delicate tasks just as easily as heavy lifting. The moment a bare motherboard reaches the start of the assembly line, the process kicks into high gear. First, robots carefully place the motherboard onto the conveyor system. Then, components like processors and memory chips are installed with precise alignment. The soldering robots follow, connecting everything electronically with perfect accuracy. No shaky hands, no missed spots. Once the core components are in place, it's time for the cooling system to go on. This step is crucial because these machines generate heat during gaming marathons. The cooling fans and heat sinks are mounted exactly where they need to be, with thermal paste applied just right to keep everything running smoothly. Next up are the modular pieces, the power supply, storage drives, and optical drives. Robots handle each part gently but quickly, slotting them into their assigned places on the frame. Once the internal build is complete, the outer plastic casing is added. The design makes this straightforward. The shell snaps together securely and quickly. Interestingly, one of the most surprising parts of this whole process is how few people are actually needed to keep things running. Inside Sony's factory, just 4 workers oversee the entire assembly line. 2 workers handle the start of the line. Their job is to load bare motherboards onto the conveyor, making sure everything begins smoothly. That's it for human involvement at the front. The robots then take over completely, handling every technical task from soldering to casing. At the end of the line, 2 more workers step in. Their role is simple but important. They take the fully assembled consoles and prepare them for the next step. You see, once a PlayStation is fully assembled, it doesn't just head straight to packaging. It has to pass a strict series of quality checks first. Sony's factory has built-in systems to catch even the smallest issue before a console leaves the floor. Throughout the assembly process, sensors and cameras monitor every stage. They check that each component is correctly installed, that solder joints are perfect, and that everything is aligned exactly as it should be. If something isn't right, that console is pulled from the line instantly for further inspection. This keeps faulty units from slipping through. Before packaging, every PlayStation gets its firmware loaded and runs through automated tests. These tests check that the console powers up correctly, that ports and buttons work, and that key internal systems like cooling fans and storage function exactly as intended. It's all about making sure the unit that reaches a gamer's home works flawlessly straight out of the box. This level of quality control gives Sony confidence that every console they ship meets the same high standards, whether it's destined for Japan, Europe, the US, or anywhere else. That includes growing gaming communities across the Middle East, where PlayStation is becoming more popular every year, thanks to rising esports events and next-gen gaming culture. Once a console clears these checks, it's finally ready for its last stop in the factory, packaging and preparation for shipping. This part might seem simple compared to the robotic assembly, but it's just as important for getting a console safely into a gamer's hands. At this point, human workers step in to carefully pack each console into its retail box. They add all the extras that come with it, the DualSense controller, power cables, HDMI cables, user manuals, everything that a buyer expects to find when they open the box. The packaging itself is carefully designed to protect the console from damage during transport. Foam inserts or molded cardboard keep the PlayStation secure and snug inside the box, reducing the risk of scratches or shocks on its way to stores. Once the boxes are packed and sealed, they are stacked onto pallets and prepared for shipping. From this point, the consoles head to distribution centers and then out to retailers around the world. The entire process, from loading parts onto the line to sealing that final box, is built for speed and consistency. This is how Sony ensures that when a PlayStation arrives at a store or at your front door, it's not just functional, it's factory fresh and ready to play right away. So, after seeing how a PlayStation is built with almost no human hands, here's a thought. If robots can assemble a gaming console this perfectly, what's next? Could the future of gaming consoles themselves be designed entirely by machines too? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one.